Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today as we're sitting around talking about how cool it is to be a wrestling fan right now. The big time rumor as of right now is that it might take a while for Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Shinsuke Nakamura to come over to WWE. But as of right now, it seems like AJ Styles is all gung-ho to be a member of WWE and be involved in the Royal Rumble coming up in January. Very, very exciting time to be a wrestling fan. I think I've said this in just about every single video. Different rumors popping up all around. Basically, James Storm showing back up. We had Mike Bennett and Maria debuting on TNA. We just had the WrestleMania of New Japan with Wrestle Kingdom 10 on New Japan World, and then we're getting ready for the best time to be a wrestling fan if you love WWE, from Royal Rumble until WrestleMania. And I think they're even going to try and come up with some sort of a gimmick to make Fastlane a very, very musty show. I'm debating. I'm not 100% sure whether if that Road to WrestleMania live from Toronto house show is going to be great or not. Definitely the Beast in the East show, even though it didn't have a whole lot of matches on it, that was a very fun show to watch. Debatable about the Madison Square Garden house show that was on the WWE Network. That seemed to be just a run-of-the-mill house show that you could go see when WWE comes to your town. It was a pretty good commercial for why go see WWE shows, because there's a lot of wrestling fans that if there's no camera there, if it's not Monday Night Raw, if it's not SmackDown, if it's not a pay-per-view, they'll skip the show and they'll go to the next one. I think that they popped it up a little bit. Definitely, Chris Jericho had a big part of that show. Brock Lesnar being on that show was the reasons that a lot of people tuned in to watch it. I watched it just because it was live wrestling on TV, and I wanted to make sure that I saw it, and it seemed like it was fun. But we'll have to see what goes down with that Toronto show. But the big debate right now is whether AJ Styles is going to be a part of the Royal Rumble, or if his debut is going to be pushed back a little bit. Definitely, you can see Finn Balor having a ton of fun with this whole ordeal. I'm sure that his mentions box is just chock full of every wrestling fan in the world telling him how cool this whole deal is. Yesterday, he posted a picture of the Bullet Club. Today, he put on his Bullet Club shirt at the WWE Performance Center, and he's holding the door open, looking at his watch, basically saying, "I thought these guys would be here by now." And I laughed so hard at that. I thought that was very funny. I don't know if this is him doing it on his own. I know that he, a few months ago, when they were in Nashville for that house show, took a picture in front of the TNA offices where he was doing the crotch chop, bringing back the Monday Night War, DX invades WCW, whole ordeal. And you don't see a lot of cross references between TNA and WWE. Sometimes TNA will throw them out on commentary, but for the most part, I think they've actually figured out the fact that they're not going to beat WWE. They just need to try and survive. So they don't do what they were doing in 2005 and 2006 with the Voodoo Kin Mafia doing skits and, them showing up at house shows in Nashville, trying to take over the crowd and trying to gain sort of cheap publicity. And I know people were making videos, back in those days, but I don't even know if there's any fan cam footage. I know, the iPhone was out and there's other things, but I don't even know if anybody took the time to pull their phone out and get video of it. I've read about it. I've never seen it, but something like that would be huge if it happened today. They would probably even bring their own camera equipment to make sure that it was documented correctly. I'm 50-50 on whether if AJ Styles is going to be a part of the Royal Rumble or if he's going to, be coming in later. I think everybody watched the video yesterday from, I'm not 100% sure. I think it was called New Year's Bash or something like that. Basically the Raw after WrestleMania for New Japan, where basically Kenny Omega attacked AJ Styles after pinning Shinsuke Nakamura. From that point, basically the Bullet Club was divided, but then they came back together. Kenny Omega announced himself as the leader, basically fired AJ Styles. From there, Kenny Omega challenged Shinsuke Nakamura for a match, saying that he was moving from the juniors division to the heavyweight division, and he wanted to be the guy to take that Intercontinental title and bring it to the Bullet Club because of the fact that he took a back seat to AJ Styles. And I'm not sure if it's because of the sign of respect at the end of the match or if it was just builds up jealousy over the fact that Kenny Omega said that he wanted to be the leader. Now we have a new person. I think everybody's gone out of their way. 1,000 people tweeted out the link. Even if you didn't have a New Japan World subscription, I'm sure that you found a way to watch it. And you would think that, AJ would have some sort of, babyface match to say goodbye to New Japan, or I'm not sure if maybe the just bowing to the crowd, but definitely, Kenny Omega has challenged Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura was his last opponent, so I don't know who there is for AJ to have a match with, so I think that all of his business over there is basically all handled. It's all taken care of. So maybe he is, jumping on a plane. He's going to sit out at home and maybe just make that big debut at the Royal Rumble. From that point, you got to wonder if he's just going to be in the Rumble or if he's just going to be an actual person that has a chance to actually win it. I think that on my list of people that actually have a chance to win the Royal Rumble, I've got 3. I've got Triple H, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns inside of that order. Definitely AJ Styles coming in and making a debut, winning the Royal Rumble would be a big deal, but this is for the actual WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I know that you can tell that there's motion to try and change WWE, whether if that's Vince McMahon giving Triple H and Stephanie more reigns of freedom to actually be able to do this. I'm not 100% sure that Vince McMahon would make a move like this if it wasn't for somebody like Triple H, bringing people in. Triple H has taken gambles and brought in big stars. He brought in, Awesome Kong. He brought in Sin Cara. He brought in another big name, and put them basically right on the main roster. And I can't think of the third person, but they didn't come in really lock, stock, and barrel. And from then, he's basically just been putting people in NXT, and he's built that up to be a huge deal. Honestly, in my opinion, AJ Styles just wrestling for NXT is a big waste. I think that Samoa Joe being just a member of NXT is a pretty big waste. There's a lot of people who watch Monday Night Raw and don't feel like it's a great show. And I think bringing in big names and giving big moments of big debuts or big returns is something that makes people remember wrestling. How many times have you watched Monday Night Raw on a Monday night and then on Thursday tried to remember what happened on Raw and basically just sort of sat there and been like, I honestly don't remember what happened. And that's what gets wrestling fans to the point where they feel that they wasted 3 hours of their life. And there's tons of fun things out there. AJ Styles coming in and having a big, moment in the Royal Rumble coming in, even if he doesn't win, is definitely going to be a memorable thing. There's tons of rumors out there about wrestling that are running really heavy right now. People are even going as far as basically saying that WWE has tried to sign almost the entire Bullet Club, even Tama Tonga. Haku's son is going to be coming and going to NXT. There's people on the internet who basically go to the wrestlers' pages, and I know that they see who's following them and who they're following, and because they're high up on the list, that means that it's happened recently, and there's people saying that Tama Tonga has, started following a lot of the NXT wrestlers, and a lot of the NXT wrestlers have started following Tama Tonga. I know that he lives in southern Florida, and he's a part of the independent scene there when he's not wrestling for New Japan. So maybe he just went to the Performance Center. Definitely, you got to think that probably Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows would take a stop by there. We know that Carl Anderson went to the Performance Center months ago and recorded the Talkin' Shop, where it was just, I don't know if it was so much of an interview, but a podcast of two friends sitting down and having a conversation about what wrestling is like after leaving New Japan, being a part of NXT, and getting used to the American lifestyle. And I thought that was a very good show. Definitely not one of the best talking shops, but when you're a fan of something and they have a really big moment, and even though it's not one of their best shows, it gets more. I know Finn Balor has done the Jericho podcast, but I know that people had to go to MLW and they had to download that Talking Shop interview because they're Finn Balor fans and they want to hear what this guy has to say. So that was a big moment for MLW. That was a big moment for Talking Shop, and it helped put them over, and I thought that was really cool. I would love to see AJ in the Rumble. I know that from listening to the Wrestling Observer Radio, I don't think I've read anything because it would have came out yesterday, the new Observer, but I'm sure that thing is just packed full of news, and I need to go over there and check that out. But from listening to Dave talk about it on the Wrestle Kingdom review, talk about it after the Monday Night Raw review, about what's going down with this whole deal, I can tell that, it doesn't seem like Nakamura, Anderson, and Gallows are coming right now. They're coming soon, but they're not, it's not today, it's not tomorrow. They're going to tie up some loose ends. And they haven't come out and said that AJ is going to be a part of the Royal Rumble. Brian Alvarez has gone apart to sort of talk about what would happen if AJ did come and said, please do not report this. This is just a guy, trying to talk about, what could happen. This is not news. He doesn't have any information. But when you listen to Dave, Dave doesn't come out and spoil a lot of the things that are going to be really big, and you can tell that he knows the things, and some people don't like that about the fact that, Meltzer comes out after the fact, and he's like, yeah, I knew about it, and people are like, well, how did you know about it if you didn't report about it? But, I think that there's, a style of it to his reporting. If it's a guy that's just going to be showing up and it's not really going to be a big deal, he'll report about it. And some people like that, and some people don't like it being spoiled for them. And that's a part of the internet age that we're a part of now. If you don't want to know about it, don't be on the internet. Don't be on Twitter. You can basically say that, it's somebody else's fault for posting it, but, it's your fault. You know that the information is going to be out there if it's there. Everybody wants to be first about everything, but I'm pretty sure from listening to Wrestling Observer Radio that they're making it sound like AJ is going to be there. They don't want to say that AJ is going to be in the Rumble, but you can tell that there's a tone to what they're saying, that it seems like as of right now, the plans is for AJ Styles to debut at the Rumble, and that's going to be a big deal, and we'll see what that leads to. I don't think that he's going to win it, but you definitely think that they're going to be spending a lot of money on AJ Styles. This debut is going to be big, and I don't think, AJ Styles getting into the Rumble, eliminating somebody like Dolph Ziggler, leading to an AJ versus Ziggler match is going to be a big deal. You're bringing AJ in, you want him a solid part of the at least co-main event slot, showing the fans that this guy is a big deal, letting him show off that he is one of the best wrestlers in the world. We'll see. The Rumble's a few weeks away. The story's only going to get bigger from here. I'll see you guys down the road.